Well, hello and welcome to our program tonight. It is so good to have you with us. Oh man, we had a great time last week. We had the Arizona Wildflowers as our first special guest on the show last week, and they did a great job. I appreciate all of you going over. I went over and looked at their YouTube site, and a lot of you had gone over and given them some thumbs up and stuff. I appreciate that, and they picked up a few new subscriptions out of it. So, you know, hopefully everybody benefited from that, and hopefully y'all enjoyed them. For our attendance report last week, we had 139 concurrent viewers, and non-concurrents were almost 1,000. I can't remember. I think it was like 990 or 985 or something to that. It was almost 1,000. So, good attendance report from last week. Other than the fact that we're still going through troubling times, and we keep everybody in prayer. You know, if you're needing prayer for anything, whether you're sick or having struggling mentally or with depression or just whatever, you know, we send up our hugs and prayers to you. And music always helps. So why don't we get to the musical portion of our program tonight? I'm going to start off tonight's program with a song that comes from my Gospelship album. My Gospelship album was an experiment that I had been in the studio business, I don't know, 10 or 15 years by the time I met these two ladies, Anita Bray and Carolyn May. And they had been recording gospel music, and we had gotten to be good friends. But I was needing to do a second album. I had just started doing gospel music, and we were beginning to play here and there, and I was really needing more product. People were requesting these old songs because my first album was just filled with those old songs. And they were wanting more and more of this. I'm going, well, I can do this. You know, I know these. So I grew up singing all these songs. But anyway, I selected these two ladies out of the people that I had been working with, and Anita had a friend that she brought in. So I had three ladies, and we did just extensive vocal arrangements on this whole album. It was sort of a call and response type of harmony where I would sing a line and they would answer a line. There were specific songs that have that sort of thing in them, and we picked those songs. Anyway, this song was written by a fellow named Samuel Stinnett. But I'm going to have Anita and Carol help me with it tonight. This is my version of I'm Bound for the Promised Land.
On Jordan's stormy banks I stand and cast a wishful eye to Canaan's fair and happy land where my possessions lie. I am bound for the promised land. I am bound for the promised land. Oh, who will come and go with me? I am bound for the promised land. All over those wide extended plains shines one eternal day. There God the Son forever reigns and scatters night away. I am bound for the promised land. I am bound for the promised land. Oh, who will come and go with me? I am bound for the promised land. No chilling winds nor poisonous breath can reach that healthful shore. Sickness and sorrow, pain and death are felt and feared no more. I am bound for the promised land. I am bound for the promised shall I see my Father's face, and in His bosom rest. I am bound for the promised land. I am bound for the promised land. Oh, who will come and go with me? I am bound for the promised land. Oh, who will come and go with me? I am bound for the promised land. Oh, who will come and go with me? I am bound for the promised land.
This next song is the song I'm going to do for you from my Angel Band CD. I was, after playing Walmarts for a while and not really having an audience to play to, I was standing there just singing my songs, kind of like a human jukebox, but it was giving me a chance. I was changing over to gospel music from secular music, and it was giving me a chance to learn the words to my songs and get them up to performance quality and what have you. And when Walmart ended, I started playing a flea market up near Cherokee, North Carolina, called Uncle Bill's Flea Market. And the first day we went in there, it was just sort of a test to see if we fit and what have you. And he put me by the cafeteria. Well, after we got through that day, he came over to me and he said, I'm just an old heathen, which I beg to differ, Uncle Bill. You're a good guy. You're not a heathen. But he said, I'm just an old heathen, but something about you I like. And that started a 5-year been a continuous friendship, but we were working together for 5 years after that. And he said, why don't I put you over there in the middle section of the flea market, and we'll put some chairs in there. And it was a covered area. Actually, it was the best place on the whole lot, because everybody that walked down the long string of that flea market walked right by you. So the next thing I know, now I've got people sitting in chairs out here, and I'm the human jukebox, not talking much. And God works in mysterious ways. After about 2 or 3 weekends, some fella came up to me and he said, that song you sang, It Is No Secret? I said, yeah. He said, that song was written by Stuart Hamblin, and I saw him one night in a service, and he told this story. Well, he went on to tell the story. In another episode, I tell that story about how he came to write It Is No Secret. But a light bulb goes off in my head, and I'm going, wait a minute. Almost every song has a story. There's some reason that the guy wrote it. Now, the internet was in its infancy back then. This was the late 1990s, early 2000s, something like that. 2001, I think it was. But anyway, so I got to thinking about it, and I pondered the story he told me, and it was logical. I went online, and sure enough, it checked out. So the next day I thought, well, I'll tell that story. So before I did the song, I told the story about Stuart Hamblin writing that song. And I noticed that the people were just sitting there mesmerized. They were almost paying more attention when I told the story than they were when I was singing the song. So I thought, this is it. All I got to do is go find out the stories to as many of my songs as I can. And sure enough, I was able to, probably half the songs that I performed, I could find something to talk about. Well, suddenly now I had my program. I could stand there and tell the stories. And I never realized that 20 years later I'd be telling these stories again on YouTube. But nonetheless, that's how I came to tell my stories about the songs and everything. And I don't know the man's name, but I'll always be grateful to him, because I may or may not have ever thought about doing this had he not told me that story. But tonight I'm going to do my version of it for you, that great Stuart Hamblin song, It Is No Secret What God Can Do.
The chimes of time ring out the news, another day is through. Someone slipped and fell Was that someone you may have longed for added strength, your courage to renew? Do not be disheartened, for I bring hope to you. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. There is no night, for in His light you'll never walk alone. Always feel at home wherever you may roam. There is no power can conquer you while God is on your side. Just take Him at His promise. Don't run away and hide. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. It is no secret what God can do, what He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. It is no secret what God can do.
Ada Blinkhorn wrote a song that went on to be in the movie Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and just so many people recorded this song, and I put it on my Turn Your Radio On album. She wrote this song in 1899 because she had one of her kinfolk were disabled and they were in a wheelchair. And he would always want to be pushed down the sunny side of the street whenever they were pushing him along the sidewalks and everything. And so that phrase just sort of stuck with her, and she wrote this great old song called Keep on the Sunny Side of Life.
There's a dark and troubled side of life. There's a bright and sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we always may view. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us if we pray, it will brighten every day if we keep on the sunny side of life. Though the storm in its fury break today, rushing hopes that we cherish so dear, storm and cloud will in time pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us if we pray, it will brighten every day if we keep on the sunny side of life. Let us greet with a song of hope each day. Though the moments be cloudy or fair, let us trust in our Savior away to keep everyone in His care. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us if we pray, it will brighten every day if we keep on the sunny side of life. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us if we pray, it will brighten every day if we keep on the sunny side of life. If we keep on the sunny side of life, we gotta keep on the sunny side of life.
I didn't do any philosophizing last week because we had the special guest on there and I just added an extra song. But, you know, tonight I'm really not going to do a lot of philosophizing. I'm not going to read anything. I'm just going to remind you of some scriptures. We're going through some interesting times with religion in the world and with politics in the world. And it's like there's always more than one faction, you know, we don't, I just want to remind everybody, we don't have to be at odds with each other. We can disagree agreeably. Does that make sense? You don't have to agree with everybody, but we don't have to defriend each other. You know, I mean, we just have a different opinion. Most of us want the same things in life. Many of us just see a different way to get there, you know. I certainly have strong political opinions, but I'm not going to bring them out on this show because I don't want this to become a political forum. You know, I think most people want to get away from politics. They don't want to, you know, and those that want to argue, there's plenty of places online you can go and argue, you know. You've heard me say before, I don't argue religious dogma, and I don't argue politics because there's no winner. Both people are sure they are right. So there's no way to point to any evidence that shows which one is right or wrong. You know, most of the history, particularly of the early Bible, we think we have found some of the places, but archaeologically we can't really prove one way or the other what went on way back. And we're talking 4,000 years ago. You know, that's a long time. So my point being, really arguing politics and religion, it's a useless task, you know, so I choose not to involve myself. But because of that, and it took me a while to get to this, you know, I used to argue with anybody who wanted to drop a hat, you know, but I just began to realize what you do is you wind up losing your friends, and nobody proved anything. So the point that I want us to remember is Jesus told us, he said, I'm paraphrasing just a little bit, but it's the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That pretty much takes the question out of anything, because all you got to do before you treat somebody a certain way is go, would I like to be treated that way? If you would, then you're probably doing the right thing. If you wouldn't, you're probably not doing the right thing. So, if we use that as one of our yardsticks. And then Jesus was being tested one day, and some of the smart Sadducees and Pharisees were asking him trick questions and everything. And he had answered them, sort of put them in their place a couple of times. But then it came down to one young lawyer asked him, said, well, what, in the old law, there's some 1,500, if I remember correctly, little laws that you had to keep, and this and that and the other and all this stuff, Most people didn't even know the whole... Can you memorize? You think you could memorize 1,500 laws? I don't think so. So he asked him which one was the most important, and he said it really comes down to two things. And here again, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but you'll know that the truth is in what I'm saying. The first commandment is love God with all your heart and with all your soul. Okay, well, if you put yourself on that level and you start trying to do people right, then it comes down to the second law. And the second law is likened to it. Love your brother, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, we're not going to harm ourselves, so we're not going to harm our brother. We're not going to steal something out of our... You're not going to steal from your neighbor because you don't want them to steal from you. It's so simple, folks, But anyway, my message is and has been since we started this show is for us to learn to live together with our differences. It's okay for us to have different opinions, When Jesus comes back, he's going to straighten it all out, and then we'll all know who was right and who was wrong, or if anybody was right or wrong. I choose to think that most of us get a little bit of it right and we get some of it wrong. I don't know anybody that always gets everything right. So my point is we should learn to have a little tolerance. Now, when somebody starts being ugly and calling names, I don't have any patience with that, because any intelligent conversation just went out the window. When you lower yourself to calling somebody a name, your thought process just went out the window. So anyway, all I'm asking is that, just like I ask at the end of every show, let's just be kind to each other. Let's learn to love each other again. And that's pretty much what I had to say tonight, so we'll end this segment. Gospelship is a song that goes back further than we know about. I'm guessing it probably came from some of the camp meetings and the folklore in the mid to late 1800s, but the first family to record it was the Carter family. And then later on, Alphonse Lefebvre sort of put it together in a standardized version, and he's given credit for writing the song, but he didn't write the song. The Carters did it long before he published what he called his arrangement, but then the Lefebvres did a version later on. But anyway, I chose it as the title song of my second album. And when I started to do the second album, I had always wanted to do some songs with three ladies singing in the background. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to arrange the song in such a way, or the harmony in such a way, that when you hear me doing my harmonies on most of my albums, I'm singing what's called parallel harmony most of the time. Every now and then I'll do a counterpoint, but most of the time, my harmony parts, we're singing the same line at the same time. We're just singing on different pitch levels, and that creates the harmony. But I wanted to do a call and response that was somewhat reminiscent of the old spiritual songs and old gospel songs from the early 1900s, maybe even late 1800s. And so these two ladies, Anita and Carol, had been recording in my studio, and they both did gospel music. And I needed three, and Anita had a friend. I believe her name was Sharon. Forgive me if that's the wrong name, but it's been 20 years, folks. So I don't remember what happened yesterday. I'm 75 now. I don't remember much of what happened yesterday, much less 20 years ago. But Sharon, I hope that's your correct name because I want you to have credit. But anyway, Anita and Carol, I knew they were good singers and I knew they could do the harmony parts and all that. So they all agreed to help me. And over a period of, I don't know, several months, we recorded 10 songs, and we did this beautiful call and response work. So, I mean, you'll hear how it works when we start to sing this song. But I just want to thank Anita and Carol and Sharon for their wonderful work that they did with me back then. And the way that we recorded it, I won't get into the technical aspects of it, but it gave us a nice big sound in the background. They sound like a chorus. They sound like a choir. And because we would double it and just things that we did to thicken it up. But they did such a wonderful job on this. And my brother Mick did the guitar work on this. And he plays some lead guitar, but then he plays some slide guitar too. So for all you guitar players out there, get ready for this. Obviously, I think a lot of my brother, but he can play, I assure you. And so without further ado, why don't we just do this song for you? I'm going to take a trip on that good old gospel ship.
I'm gonna take a trip on that good old gospel ship. I am going far beyond the sky. I'm gonna shout and sing until all the heavens ring, and I'll be bidding this old world goodbye. I have good news to bring, and this is why I sing. All my joys with you I will share. I'm gonna take a trip on that good old gospel ship and go sailing, sailing through the air. I'm gonna take a trip on that good old gospel ship. I am going far beyond the sky. I'm gonna shout and sing until all the heavens ring, and I'll be bidding this old world goodbye. Scarcely wait, and I will not be late. I am gonna spend my time in prayer, and when my ship comes in, I will leave this world of sin and go sailing, sailing through the air. I'm gonna take a trip on that good old gospel ship. I am going far beyond the sky. I'm gonna shout and sing until all the heavens ring, and I'll be
Right now, I want to take a minute and point out that next week is our request show. So get your request in. And something happened a couple of weeks ago. I need to tell you all about this. I always cut and paste any requests I get into a little text document. And before I did a save, I had a crash on my computer, so I lost all the requests that were made up to about 2 weeks ago. I apologize for that. So, that being said, get your request in tonight. You can do it in the chat room, or you can do it if you're watching a replay. Put your request in the comments below, and I'll get the request from there. But my apologies for that. You know how these computers are. If you don't do a save, you don't get it back once it crashes. So sorry about that. But anyway, make your request, and remember too, go to my playlist. I have a playlist that says all my top videos or something to that effect. And I usually leave a link. It's somewhere, probably in the Show More section down there. But you can go there, and that will show you the songs that you can choose from to request. I can't just take any and all requests because I don't have them prepared for the show. It takes a lot of special preparation. You will notice that on my YouTube videos, they're quite different from the ones that we use for the show. They're usually not from the stage, and they usually don't have the words. But anyway, that will give you a list. I think there's about 50 songs there. So if you choose from there, it'll be more likely that we can get to your request. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Make your request, put them in the comments below or in the chat room, and I'll cut and paste them to a new list. And I will save these, hopefully before I get my computer crashed. But anyway, next week's our request show. So I hope to see you next week, and I hope you'll get those requests in. Alan Jackson did an album of gospel songs. And one of the ones that was on that album was a song called I Want to Stroll Over Heaven with You. And I know we talk about it on our chat room, how we would love to get together and play together and jam together and sing together. And if I was younger, we'd make that happen. But as it is, it would be very difficult for me now with certain issues that I have for us to be able to do that. But we will do that in heaven one day. Alan Jackson did the song. The Happy Goodmans did the song. Third Time Out did the song. A young man named Owen Mack did the song. Several people have done this song. But we're going to do our version of it for you tonight. It's called I Want to Stroll Over Heaven with You.
I surveyed all the good things that come to me from above. If I could count all the blessings from the storehouse of love, I'd simply ask for the favor of Him beyond mortal men, and I'm sure that He would grant it again. I want to stroll over heaven with you some glad day, where all the troubles and heartaches are vanished away. Then we'll enjoy the beauty where all things are new. I want to stroll over heaven with you. see here below, the time and treasures have kept us from making plans, as you know. But come the morning of the rapture, together we'll stand anew, while I stroll over heaven with you. I want to stroll over heaven with you some glad day, where all the troubles and heartaches are vanished away. Then we'll enjoy the beauty where all things are new. I want to stroll over heaven with you. I want to stroll over heaven with you some glad day, where all the troubles and heartaches are vanished away. Then we'll enjoy the beauty where all things are new. I want to stroll over heaven with you. I want to stroll over heaven with you.
For this next song tonight, I'm going to do you a song that was written by Curtis Millsap in 1940. I was starting to play a lot in the mountain regions by the time I got to my fourth album, and people had kept telling me, "Yeah, you need a banjo to go with that music." My first album was sort of country-ish gospel, but I didn't use anything but acoustic guitar. I wasn't playing banjo or mandolin at that time. But people started saying, if you're going to play up here in the mountains, you need a banjo or a mandolin to go with that music. We like your music, but we'd like to hear a banjo or something, you know. So I started out by getting a mandolin, and I learned that pretty quick as far as the chords went. You know, you can spend a lifetime perfecting any instrument. So I'm not saying I mastered the instrument quickly. I'm just saying the chords, it was just learning different. Your chord shapes are a little different because the tuning is a bit different on a mandolin than a guitar. But once you learn the chord shapes, you can play rhythm if you already know how to play rhythm. So that was no problem. But silly me, I order me a banjo. This is different. Yes, the chords again are different because it's tuned even differently than, well, there's many tunings for a banjo, but the open G tuning is still different than a guitar, although you can tune a guitar to open G, but standard guitar tuning is not that. And a mandolin is tuned in fifths, kind of like a violin or a fiddle. So anyway, I think I'm going to grab this banjo and just start picking like I did the mandolin. Oh no. And I'm a finger picker. I did Chet Atkins style and finger picked and all that kind of stuff coming along in my younger days, you know, sit around with acoustic and just finger pick. So I just thought banjo would be a piece of cake, but oh no. That your high string is on top instead of on the bottom. Now we got to learn to weave that thing in and out of picking a melody with your fingers and between your fingers and your thumb while keeping a running figure going. This didn't happen so quick. But anyway, I played it when I would go and play, and when I would take my break, I would sit there and play banjo with my tracks. And so after about a month, I started to get the feel for what was the worst. I was used to playing with my fingernails when I would play guitar. But banjo, the stroke is a little bit stronger, and I immediately broke my front fingernail, so that forced me to have to learn to use the picks, which I'm glad it did, because within a month I was feeling comfortable with the picks. But it took me about a month to get to where I could adequately keep up with what was going on with the track. But then I started using it on my third album, which was the radio album. I put a little bit on there and put a lot on the Cabin album. But anyway, this is one of those songs that prompted me to do banjo, and it was just begging for almost a lead banjo part. So this song is heavily influenced by the banjo, and it's called "I've Got That Old Time Religion in My Heart."
I'm glad Jesus came, glory to his name. Oh, what a friend is he. He so freely gave his own life to save, from bonds of sin set free. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, wait, it is down inside. I've got a new kind of feeling in my heart. Joys of life. Nobody knows what it means to me. Nobody knows but my Lord and me. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, wait, it is down inside. What a joy to know one who loves us so. He is so kind and true. He has changed my life from all sin and strife. He'll do the same for you. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, wait, it is down inside. I've got a new kind of feeling in my heart. Joys of life. Nobody knows what it means to me. Nobody knows but my Lord and me. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, wait, it is down inside. Humbly to him bow, just let the Lord come in. You'll find perfect peace, joy will never cease. You shall the life crown win. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, wait, it is down inside. I've got a new kind of feeling in my heart. Joys of life. Nobody knows what it means to me. Nobody knows but my Lord and me. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, way down inside. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, way it is down inside. I've got a new kind of feeling in my heart. Joys of life. Nobody knows what it means to me. Nobody knows but my Lord and me. I've got that old time religion in my heart. Oh, way down inside.
Right now, I just want to remind you about our website, www.birdyeomans.com. All my CDs are there. My double CDs are there. My songbook's there. There's a couple of specials that we have there. And just want to invite you to come by and take a look at it. If you have any questions, my wife Linda will be glad to help you. Her email address is linda@birdyeomans.com. And thank you so much for being a part of our program. And now we're just going to get you back to the musical portion of the show. For our last song this evening, I'm going to do a song for you that was taken from the freedom movements. We don't really know who wrote the song. A fellow by the name of John Benson, who was a publisher in the late 1800s, early 1900s, is given some credit for it, but he probably just, in their need to collect songs to publish, they published a lot of folk songs that were just common. Nobody really knew who wrote them. They were just out there and people were singing them in camp meetings and stuff, and this was one of those songs. But the fellow who is really given credit for the song is a fellow by the name of Ackley. He put it in a collection of work in 1906. So he's the one that most people point to as the writer of the song, but he didn't write the song. I mean, we're fairly sure it just appeared out of the freedom movement, and he heard it at a camp meeting or something like that, and then he codified it and put it all together, so that we would have it to be able to sing. And it became quite a popular song during the freedom movement time, particularly coming out of the slave era and then going into the civil rights era in the mid-1900s. But we're going to sing this together to wind up the evening, and it's called I Shall Not Be Moved.
Jesus is my Savior, I shall not be moved. In His love and favor, I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, Lord, I shall not be moved. In my Christ abiding, I shall not be moved. In His love I'm hiding, I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, Lord, I shall not be moved. If I trust Him ever, I shall not be moved. He will fail me never, I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, Lord, I shall not be moved. On His word I'm feeding, I shall not be moved. He's the one that's leading, I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, Lord, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, Lord, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Lord, I shall not be moved.
Thank you for being with us. Just always warms my heart to see everybody on Friday night and just get to chat with everybody a little bit and meet with people of like mind and people who are learning to love each other and be kind to each other and that sort of stuff. It's just a wonderful environment on Friday nights, and we appreciate you being with us. Don't forget, if you would like to look at any of our CDs or the songbook, remember the songbook doesn't have written out music. It's just the words with the chord changes that I use on my CDs, and my songbook matches the 6 CDs that I have. And there's a special on the website too, where you can get all of my 6 CDs. I doubled them up in order to be able to reduce the price a little bit for you, but they're full-length CDs. It's just that you get 2 per CD, so it's like 3 CDs in the book, and there's a special for that. But anyway, go over to our website, www.birdyeomans.com, and take a look. My history's there if you want to see what kind of trouble I got into when I was younger. It wasn't real trouble, but it was a little bit different life when I was younger. But also, if you have any questions about how the website works, my wife Linda would be glad to help you. Her email address is linda@birdyeomans.com. Thank you for being with us. Be kind to each other this week. I love you. I'll see you next Friday night.